going into our next section, our Urban Decay section. So a lot of people have seen this clip from Urban Decay. It was the crazy guy in the McDonald's who got into a fight and then eventually took out an axe and started smashing up the McDonald's.
Yeah.
And almost attacked people.
Yeah, threatened them menacingly at least and got in their faces and made them beg.
So everyone's seen it. It's playing here now. It starts off with a punch. He throws the first punch.
Yeah, he throws the punch.
He throws the first punch. He's like a crazy, unhinged guy. Throws the first punch. The people start fighting back at him. 3 guys are like punching him in the head, trying to knock him out.
He's not even defending. Yeah.
Reasonable. And he's like so messed up or on drugs or drunk that he just like takes the punches and like, yeah, see? And then he goes and grabs an axe out of his bag and he comes back here. He starts smashing it up, smashing the table, smashes the glass in front of everybody. Everyone's freaking out. And then here's what's crazy. He got arrested for this and he got released immediately.
No bail.
No bail. And now people in the news are interviewing him and saying he's the victim. Check out this interview.
Michael Palacio tells me he has 0 regrets for doing this Friday morning.
Most important thing is don't be afraid to defend yourself.
Michael tells me things went south at this McDonald's on Delancey Street after a security guard ignored his request to use the bathroom. He maintains words were exchanged with the customer. Then things escalated. Michael, he admits he had been drinking, threw a punch. There was plenty of pushing and shoving with 3 men who then turned on him. Video shows Michael on the receiving end of.
So there he is getting hit. And they're trying to make it like he's the victim. He was getting hit. Then he took his axe out to defend himself. And Baller Alert, who we've covered in the past, they posted this whole thing. McDonald's Axeman said he was the one defending himself when he pulled out a weapon, which is interesting. And everyone's pretending that he's the victim and he was just doing self-defense, which makes me wonder, what about this part? When you get into the girl's face and slam the table right in front of her and you're a foot away yelling in her face.
And it's pure intimidation with someone who doesn't have a weapon.
Yeah, and it's a girl. Is that part of the self-defense too? So now everyone's jumping to defend this guy. And it's like he was like a drugged out, drunk, whatever, street rat adjacent person with a weapon.
He's got those giant ears with the holes in them.
Yeah, but now he's the victim and he's saying that, you know, don't be afraid to defend yourself.
And the interesting phrase is 0 regrets. 0?
Yeah.
You don't regret not de-escalating the situation. You don't regret maybe going to a different restaurant, you know, or something like that. You don't regret all the vandalism you did, you know. It's just kind of like that mentality, like I can do no wrong. Whatever happened, happened. I was angry. Yeah. I was Hulk, you know.
Yeah, he couldn't control himself. He snapped. And it's like if it was about self-defense, the whole thing was about self-defense and something happened, first of all,
back out of the McDonald's.
You leave.
Yeah.
Here's him like going and trying to get in. They're trying to hold him back before any punches were thrown.
There was a nice 30-second hatchet grabbing too, right?
Oh, yeah. Exactly. He went into his bag to grab his hatchet. He wasn't being attacked. He could have just left.
Yeah.
Here's him trying to get in to go fight. He could have just left. And then he eventually throws the first punch. So this guy is the victim after all that. And everyone else just stands around. Those guys try to stop him, but people just stand around. You could have, if this was in Texas.
Oh, someone could have easily.
Someone could just go.
Even in
boom.
New York, he was wielding a hatchet, officer. I was fearful for my life.
I fear for my life. Bing.
Yeah, he does it like an old timer, like where you brace it. He just goes ding.
100% could have.
Yeah.
And that would have been real self-defense. But I guess people just stand around now. There's a Chick-fil-A worker. This is from last week, but we didn't get to cover it.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A worker wrestles a thief to the ground. This guy tried to steal from a lady.
Yep. He tried to carjack this woman and her baby.
And her baby.
And then he wanted to take the car. The woman was with her baby. So
the Chick-fil-A workers.
He gets him in a guillotine. He's going hard. And this is kind of like he starts the fire, he doesn't do nothing, and then everyone swarms, right?
Yeah. But even when everyone swarms, it's like not enough support.
Really?
People are like scared. People are unsure. People don't jump in. Like in 1950, say 1950, a lady gets carjacked with a baby in it. I would say 9 out of 10 able-bodied men in that area run over, swarm, beat the guy up, hold him down until the cops come. 2022, 1 in 10. Or 1 in 20.
Yeah.
The guy from Chick-fil-A.
It has to.
Everyone else kind of just like, I don't know what happened, or like, what's going on? Call the police, who aren't going to come.
Yeah, I wasn't positive.
Everyone's just soft, and they're scared, and they don't want to like interact with certain people a certain way. They don't know what to do. They're just kind of like, oh, everything kind of just happens. I don't. And it's the opposite. It's like the opposite of what's needed. Remember last week the guy who came and corrected the pit bull attacking the Clydesdale?
Yeah,
that's the 1 in 10, 1 in 20 now, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So we don't have any. No one wants to do the right thing anymore. And it's also, you can't blame them, because if you're in these like Democrat cities and you go shoot the guy with the axe at the McDonald's, like the George Soros DA is probably going to get you in trouble.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. You have a bail.
Yeah.
You have bail.
So there's like so many things working against the people. It's like the institutions are against them, so you can't do the right thing. The food is against them. Their testosterone's low. No one works out. The women are whores. It's just like everything's working around to make the men really, really weak. And then you kind of get like a litmus check, like margin call on how weak the men are when something like this happens and one person steps up.
For sure.
It's very scary. It's very scary. Next car show, KO. This is good.
Yeah, this is kind of an update. Somebody sent me this because of how we talked about the previous car show and how much of a nightmare scene it is where people will film you before helping you.
Of course.
And this is the next level. Guy gets hit, flattened, knocked out cold.
So they come over, check his pockets, trying to rob him.
Immediately goes to the pockets.
They punch him in the face.
And you try to knock out the already knocked out guy.
That's it.
Who is that guy? The FBI needs to find that guy.
It's like, yeah, we got a guy. He's definitely a bad guy. Here's him doing something bad in a moment of stress when you need to do something good. Get him. Nope.
Like, that's what I'm saying. I don't even know what to say. Like, that guy, whatever he's up to, he shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
He should be in prison or something. Like, anybody who would do that to someone should be gone.
Exactly. Next, let's go to Portland for the next one. This is a little bit of a drive-through on a street in Portland. We'll blur this.
I don't know if we can show this.
We can't really show it. We're going to blur it because his butt's out. But there's just a Portland street. There's just a guy laying on the ground and he's shit everywhere.
Like biohazard level.
Just blown out butt. And what? People have to go walk to school, go to work, ride the bus. And that's what's going on the streets. Last week we spoke about San Francisco a little bit. We did a bunch of stats. There was an updated stat. Half of San Francisco residents have been robbed in the last 5 years. Robbed.
Not surprised.
So great. And then there was a little bit of update in LA. There was a police dog that got brought to Skid Row. They found a bunch of drugs. They found $70K in cash, bunch of guns, and they found
$70K in cash?
$70K in cash.
I did not know that.
Which is interesting because if you're in that, I used to live over there, and you can go rob those guys and find cash.
Yeah, get the tent.
Yeah, right. This envelope of cash looks good. 2 pounds of fentanyl were found as well. 2 milligrams of fentanyl is enough to kill a person. There's 453,592 milligrams in a pound. So times that by 2 and then divided by 2. The 2 pounds of fentanyl that were found on Skid Row was enough to kill 453,592 people, which is...
all from one tent in Skid Row.
One tent in Skid Row, enough fentanyl to kill almost 500,000 people.
Wow.
So that's what's going on over there.
What's the FBI doing again?
Yeah, they're looking at January 6 boomers.
It's actually ATF probably, but still.
But they're looking at January 6 boomers who got ushered who got ushered into the Capitol. They're going after Simone Gold, who's a doctor. Yeah. Everyone else, they're good to go. No one gets in trouble. Very crazy. And then second to last clip, Portland. Back to Portland.
We got another Portland.
So we did last week, we covered the person who went in the other person's house, the guy who was on the ground. The guy woke up and there was like a homeless guy in his house. Yeah. It's happened again.
Yeah.
Check this one out.
That describes a disturbing encounter, finding a stranger curled up in her 10-year-old's bed Tuesday. Smith says she was on her back deck when her dog started to go crazy. The mother tells us she ignored them for a minute because no one rang the bell, but ring cam video shows that's because the intruder walked right in. Smith says she decided to investigate when her dogs kept barking, thinking it might have been a mouse.
But when I got close enough, I realized it was a body, and I thought it was my husband.
Gail? Watch as she calls his name before realizing the person in bed is not her husband, but a barefoot intruder. Smith says the woman then picked up an ottoman and chucked it at her before running away. And while she tells us the home invader was later picked up by police, she says her home was only the second of 3 to be hit by the suspect that day.
So they threw an ottoman at you. Then the cops picked him up. They've been doing this. The person's probably back out on the streets already.
Guaranteed.
So this is like the new trend now. The homeless people just go in your house, and then you call the cops, and they don't come, I guess?
They don't come, and then in Illinois, they can't remove them, right? Isn't that the rule?
So they go, oh, that's kind of on you. You don't have any weapons also, hopefully, because you're not allowed to get them. So you can't defend yourself. You can't call the cops. You can't really remove them.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a perfect storm for street rats doing whatever they want and taking over.
It's a good time to be a street rat. I don't think anybody's arguing with that.
Yeah.
They're making it easy. And the funny thing to me is, like, this woman has a security camera set up clearly in her house, and it's got a camera in her son's room, but the front door is unlocked.
Yeah.
You know?
Those days are over.
Yeah. Anytown, USA, it's Deadbolt Town, USA now.
Exactly.
Guys.
It's done. Last clip of Urban Decay. 18-year-old killed for being a Republican.
Yeah, so a 41-year-old man named Shannon Brandt confessed to a 911 dispatcher that he killed 18-year-old Kaylor Ellingson due to a political dispute. Said he was a right-wing extremist. And
18-year-old kid, right-wing extremist.
18-year-old kid in North Dakota.
Ran him over with this car, killed him.
Fled the scene. Then made a call later.
And then got released on a $50K bail bond.
Yeah.
$50K for killing an 18-year-old.
And he had some quote that was like, oh, I'm really concerned about my family and my job and all this, and I have all this. That's why I need bail. It's like, then why'd you kill a kid over a political argument?
I think is that white privilege? When you kill somebody and get let out in the same day for not a huge amount of bail, and you kill a teenager and no one cares?
I guess. I don't know. It's some sort of
privilege. It's some sort of privilege there.
If you're going to make a case, it's here. But yeah, and as we've seen, like, what news networks do you think this guy watches?
Yeah, MSNBC,
CNN. He loves Maddow.
Loves Maddow.
He loves Rachel. He goes, oh, she's just like one of the guys.
Dash.
Yeah, no. So, I mean,
Dash, Joe Biden's speech a couple weeks ago with the red in the background, stuff like that, like feeds the people. Where they see it on Rachel Maddow, they see it on Don Lemon, they see it in the Dash Dabrowskis of the world. And then when you hear the president say, oh, the MAGA extremists and whatever, it's kind of like, oh, shoot, like, it's all true?
Yeah.
Like, the president, like,
stand
back and stand by, but the other way.
Yeah. And then regardless, too, it's like, even if this, like, what are you doing? You're a 41-year-old guy arguing with a teenager? And then you can't control yourself. Oh, he's a MAGA extremist. They're going to be on my side after I took care of this.
Extremist.
I'll tell the 911 dispatcher. But it's like, dude, you can't walk away, and now this kid who had a bright future and parents who loved him and stuff is dead now because your brain doesn't work that good.
Because you're a loser, got tricked.
Yeah, you got tricked by Joe Biden.
And the bail is $50K, which seems a little light. January 6 people who walked around the Capitol probably have hundreds of thousands of dollars in bail.
Yeah, no, they're just in solitary. They're in solitary. They're locked up. They're no bail
for 2 years.
Yeah,
for trespassing. But then this guy, let him back out.
Yep. And North Dakota, too. I always like to point out what states this is happening in.
What's her name doing?
Christy Nome?
Yeah.
I think she's South Dakota.
It's close enough.
Christy, hop over.
Make a fucking call.
I think she had back surgery and she's like out of commission.
Ah, okay.
But anyway, that's the point. It's like North Dakota, all, trans drag story hour in Iowa, Nebraska, Louisville. It's all over the place now, and no one's safe from these lunatics.
Yeah, for real.